The Horn of Africa may be heading toward another dangerous turning point. In recent days, Ethiopia appeared dangerously close to a new war. Heavy weapons were mobilized, military units were moved, and tensions with powerful regional actors began rising again. But suddenly, the momentum toward war slowed down. So the big question now is this: is Ethiopia's Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, still able to make a major military decision? Before we continue, a quick request. If you value calm, fact-based geopolitical analysis like this, consider supporting the channel. Like the video, subscribe to Around the World, and if possible, support us through the link in the channel bio. Independent journalism takes time, research, and effort, and your support helps keep it going. Now let's break down what is happening. Just a few days ago, the Ethiopian federal government began mobilizing forces toward the northern region of Tigray. Heavy weapons belonging to the Ethiopian National Defense Force, often called the ENDF, were reportedly moved toward the Tigray front. Military positions were established around the region. For a moment, the possibility of another war between Addis Ababa and Tigray seemed very real. But then something changed. Several regional powers stepped in diplomatically. Countries including Turkey and Saudi Arabia, along with organizations like the African Union, began issuing warnings and calls for restraint. According to diplomatic sources, these interventions helped temporarily prevent a new escalation. But avoiding war does not mean Ethiopia's problems are solved. In fact, the Ethiopian government now faces a major internal challenge. To prepare for a possible northern conflict, the ENDF had to move troops away from other regions, particularly Amhara and Oromia. And that decision is now creating serious security gaps. When federal troops withdrew from some areas, local militias and regional forces took over security responsibilities. But those forces are struggling. In the Amhara region, armed militia groups known as Fano have continued operating in multiple areas. Meanwhile, in Oromia, the insurgent group known as the Oromo Liberation Army, often called the OLA, has reportedly expanded its activities. In recent weeks, according to multiple regional reports, OLA fighters have captured or contested several territories. This forced the Ethiopian National Defense Force to return to some areas that it had already left. And this creates a serious strategic dilemma. If Ethiopia launches a new war in the north, whether against Tigray forces or potentially involving Eritrea, the federal government would need to deploy even more troops. But moving more troops away from Amhara and Oromia could allow armed groups to capture even more territory. In extreme scenarios, even regional capitals could face security risks. In other words, the Ethiopian government is facing a classic military problem. Too many fronts, and not enough stability behind the lines. This internal pressure alone could make any major military decision extremely risky for Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. But the internal situation is only part of the story. Because Ethiopia is also being pulled into another regional crisis, one that is unfolding across the border in Sudan. And that crisis may soon become Ethiopia's second major strategic challenge. In the next part, we examine the Sudan war, the role of the rapid support forces, and why Ethiopia may be caught between powerful regional players, including the United Arab Emirates